Hi, everybody. I'm Haley Mitchell Haugen. I'm the editor of Sheila-Na-Gig Online and Sheila-Na-Gig Editions. And tonight we have gathered to celebrate the publication of Mary Ann Honaker's new collection, Night is Another Realm Altogether. And some of you may have seen Mary Ann here over the last few weeks giving us a poem or two, but now we're excited to get a little bit more into this collection, give you a sense of what it's all about. So I'm going to read our description on the back and also one of Mary Ann's blurbs and her bio, let you get a little sense of her if you don't know this great West Virginia writer. So here we go. MECFS is an illness that strips you of more than mere energy. It dismantles your identity. Honaker grapples with this loss of self, a self that loved, a self fragmented and baffling, always returning to the present where the power of MECFS remains. Honaker looks at the illness and the self through many lenses: a prehistoric snake, the power of goddess myths, Renaissance paintings, ancient philosophy, religious artifacts, quantum physics, the natural world, and even modern horror. She ends where she began, with the tension between accepting the limitations of MECFS and the unlikely hope for a cure. So just from our description, you can tell this is just a tightly packed collection. There's a lot of angles and layers to it. It's very exciting. And here's our blurb from the back from Suzanne Edison, the author of Since the House is Burning. In Night is Another Realm Altogether, Honaker brings her knowledge of mythology and theological studies to bear on a midlife diagnosis of MECFS. Opening with, "My illness swallows me whole." She limns the reality of living with an invisible illness through the grayness of days, her inability to move or read, her subsequent depression. Wolves, snakes, and other animals help. They're fearsome yet kin. These poems also illumine the small victories of creating a self within the dissolution. She learns to let go of a past love and finds, quote, "The writing is our lamp into the underworld. Everyone knows the good is constant. I peel back another face to search for where the good may be hiding." So that's one of her blurbs. And a little bit about Mary Ann. This is not her first rodeo. Mary Ann Honaker is the author of Becoming Persephone from Third Lung Press in 2019, and Whichever Way the Moon from Main Street Rag in 2023, along with the chapbooks It Will Happen Like This from Yes No Press in 2015, and Gwen and the Big Nothing, the Orchard Street Press, 2020. Her poetry has been nominated for a Puchcart Prize, has won first place in the West Virginia Writers Contest for Long Poetry in 2022, and her work has been included in the Women of Appalachia Project's Women Speak Anthologies 6 and 7, and Nix's Mate Anthology, In the Time of COVID, and Lily Poetry Reviews Anthology, Voices Amidst the Virus. She currently lives in Beckley, West Virginia. Welcome, Mary Ann. Great to have you here and to celebrate this collection, which I've said in the past, I think is such an important book, because I do think that invisible illness is something we don't talk about enough in our culture. And I think we need more of these kinds of books out there. So happy to have you here, and I'm honored to have published this collection. So welcome.
Start with a poem called My Descent into MECFS. Inanna, queen of heaven and earth, felt compelled to enter the underworld to visit her sister, the dark queen, Ereshkigal. I am compelled to stay in darkened rooms while the sun swells its surfeit of blooms. Sometimes I cover my face with a blanket. Everything is too loud, too bright, too alive. There were 7 gates along the road to visit Ereshkigal, the other self of Inanna. At the first gate, Inanna surrendered her crown. I surrendered my chosen town. At the second gate, Anana surrendered her beaded necklace. I surrendered the shape of my body. At the third gate, Anana surrendered her breastplate. I surrendered my job. At the fourth gate, Anana surrendered her golden ring. I surrendered my friends. At the fifth gate, Anana surrendered her scepter of power. I surrendered my house. At the sixth gate, Anana surrendered her royal robe. I surrendered my car. At the seventh gate, Anana surrendered her measuring rod and line, her authority to govern. I surrendered the right to decide what to do with my present and my future. Anana stood before her dark self naked. I, too, stand undone. Anana was judged guilty. Her body was hung on a hook, so in the end, she lost even that. My body is no longer my own. What crime I committed, I do not know. If Inanna and Ereshkigal are one great goddess, if they are the same being seen in two mirrors, if Ereshkigal is Inanna's shadow, then the goddess judged and found herself guilty. Did I bring this on myself? Did I push myself too hard? Did I look in the mirror to find myself only night and no day? Ereshkigal recounted her sorrows. Then she gave Inanna back to herself. I don't know if I can excavate this properly. Is there a key, a phrase to unlock this illness? I am in the underworld now. I wait for my shadow to speak. The Age of the Wolf. The howls of wolves sound like all the sufferings of the world decanted into a small glass. If you drink it, you will fall down into the realms of Hecate. She wears stars as ornaments in her hair, so colossal is she, spanning many light years. She's great darkness and great light. The howling of wolves is a sorrow that hollows you, the night kind, the formless kind, which is why Hecate gathers ghosts to wander the forest with wolves. The wolves, the phantoms, who can say when one cry cracks into another? Hecate is the goddess of witchcraft. Her fingers reach into quantum possibilities. Thus, a judgment is stationed in our minds, passed down on our bellies through centuries, shiver with fear when the wolves sing. Hecate knows her ghosts' lives only backwards. From the time they entered the underworld, their tales began, the last thing they did, the thing before that, back into the womb of the earth where they are. Hecate knows I walk a sea's cliff edge between life and death. She comes close and breathes patterns on my windows, scribbling in the frost of her voice, while the neighborhood disappears in fog. Realms of dark matter are between one star and Hecate's hair and his companions. She comes draped in galaxies. The wolves howl fate, and the ghosts echo night. Fate cannot be seen by day. Does Hecate fold the little wolves, the coy wolves, under her black robe? They yip like dogs, then release their shrill child's cry. Somewhere in the universe there are moons to match Hecate's eyes, and she is there also. Of course she gathers the little wolves, lets them add the sopranos to her melody. The age of the wolf is past. We have only these lean laments, and no song dark or wide enough to step into our last day. This is seventh period. It's from my high school friend Mike Mills. The spicy scent of sun-baked leaves always recalls to me cigarette smoke, propels me along my pilgrimage to find the waterfall we'd visit when we skipped seventh period. First, we'd trek through the woods, where sun fluttered on trunks like fairy lights. We carried our Walkmans and traded headphones to hear what the other heard. A clearing appeared, then the waterfall, small, smoothly spilling into its perfectly clear pool. The new trail leads to two waterfalls, but I can't find it, our place, not since they pushed the landscape around for the new highway. Maybe it is gone like you are gone, having chosen the earth's arms over adulthood. I can see us perched on the rock ledges, two misfit kids in all black, feet dangling over the water. We've pulled out notebooks from our bags. You are drawing. I am writing a poem. This is the undead get a bad rap. Often I think I'm dying. My head knows better, but my body has an instinct. Once people thought the seat of the soul was the heart, or even the liver. I think it's directly between the lungs, not more on one side or the other. I try to will my soul up and out of my body as I lie supine in bed, pinned to the pillow by exhaustion. Like a vampire, I sleep through the day. I sleep through the night too. Being undead isn't sexy. I think the soul is under the sternum. Pain is seated there. I'm dizzy, so I don't shift my head on the pillow. I can lie flat or on either side, but I must stay in that position after I assume it. If I could lift my soul up, I'd fly to the ocean, hover over the beach. I would watch the waves curl and break, sibilant over sand. My body bloats with unused calories. I have an urge to say, ah, as my forehead fills with air. I drag myself through the house, falling into furniture, falling into walls. In the Netflix Dracula series, people can die, be buried, and rot but still be conscious. Corpses can reach out to you though they have no muscle on their bones, see out of empty sockets. I'm tied to the body like that. My body is past being useful, but I'm still inside it, trying to live. Escaping Apollo. In my dream, your hand is around the back of my neck. Your mouth is approaching mine. The god Morpheus, the fashioner, rules dreams. From his name comes morph, to change. From somewhere off screen, stop. The voice comes from behind my head or maybe from my amygdala. Everything freezes. In Ovid's Metamorphosis, Apollo falls in love with Daphne, a nymph. She's not into him, but he pursues her anyway. Afraid, she changes into a laurel tree to escape. In the dream, I can see your hand on the back of my head, but I can see your mouth from within my own eyes. It's a movie. It's happening to me. I'm inside and outside of myself. Apollo is a god of healing. Apollo is a god of music. Apollo loves Sinope, Bellina, and Castalia, all of whom refused him. Apollo is a god of rape. Outside of myself, I'm morphed. I stop the reel. I want and don't want your lips. Offense rises like bile. Bellina jumped into the sea. She is there still, alive in the tides as they take the land and give it back. I often visit the ocean. I saw Bellina there, in a tiny jellyfish, and the O mouth of a stingray, and the teeth of a young shark. I watched her walk the moon's pearl path. In the web of all that is, there's a strong rope connecting you to me. I try to sever it, but it will not fray. Castalia drowned herself in the spring at Delphi. Her ghost wafted into the nostrils of every priestess. They breathed her in and prophesied on the exhale. Apollo is the god of prophecy. When Apollo winters elsewhere, he gives Delphi and the phantom of Castalia to his brother, the god of wine. I drink wine to call words out of me. Apollo is the god of poetry. At every turn, his golden ringlets, the spell of your voice. We need a river between us, full of outraged nymphs. There's never been a world where the rapist didn't win. When Zeus severed man from woman, and man from man, and woman from woman, Apollo healed their wounds. Not a poem. It's 50 degrees in February. I used to fade into the forest given such a chance. I'd soften and mellow, sit on a rock, gaze into the tassel of trees hanging on a steep grade, and no matter how perpendicular, they always point up. There's no upside to this now. I stumble into a wall when I try to walk, rest my forehead there, gather my heaps of no and can't and shouldn't. I shouldn't need to settle for the sun sloshed across the chair, settle and just sit there. I close my eyes, reach for it but can't find warmth. I tell myself, this is what you have now, and remember this. Instead, I remember moving through bands of light unseen, quiet as a deer through the trees. Once a deer walked with me through the path side leaves, no fear. A thin string of camaraderie connected us, a thimbleful of togetherness. Do I expect to take this chair, momentarily splashed in sunset, for an equal to that? To watching a tufted titmouse release its tiny peep and hearing it spread through the trees, fill a whole mountain. The dog sighs, bored. This should be a poem, I tell myself, but really it can't be. So let's drive, but not for too long. The mutters when we pass trees leave my ears ringing. My eyes blur together the many trunks, so it helps not to think of them as trees at all. I used to like driving so far I'd wind up in towns that were no more than a name. I drove past farms, yellow hewn stone houses. Now tree, tree, cow, cow, house. I tire of naming things. Give me a single stalk of corn and I will see the sun dazzling off his tassels. I will admire smooth veins and long leaves. How tall it is. I look up and notice the sky, the way it curves into an endless bell. This is the extent of what I can handle. Give me the snow lifting to the left lightly, coating the sides of the vines of the porch posts. I will spend a while on how snow diamonds in full sun, how it lanterns light, moon or no moon, at night. Then I'm done. We will exchange words, but they must be few, or they'll change into a language I don't understand. Think of me, perhaps, as a spider web. I can hold tiny things, insects, raindrops. In some lights I can't be seen. I make no sound on the breeze. You could stumble into me and I would shatter, transform into a veil. God wove me this way. Don't be angry. Tomorrow we will try again. I disappear in the night. I step over the night's sharp teeth, walk down her throat. I'm swallowed. I am my shadow. In the distance, gunshots. There are always gunshots at night. Then silence floods back in. A river released from its dam. A stream of moonlight waters the grasses, builds a sturdy path of shine. I could follow it, but will get me no closer to the moon. Daylight eats it up like a ribbon of licorice. The next night it will appear again at a changing angle. The grasses caress each other's throats and the night sighs. I sigh and turn liquid. I flow directionless. A dog's sharp bark shakes the window panes. The air trembles and I follow the tremble, listening to the sound's shifting landscape. Mostly the world pulls back into houses. Mostly the darkness is herself, the primordial mother. Mother's children are the owl, the moth, the possum, the coyote, and the deer that leaps in front of headlights, startling. I can't know what's around the next bend of this mountain road. I would need to go very far into night's belly to see the Milky Way. My city glows upward, a red smear on the horizon. Without city lights, night would be whole, with no ground and no sky. It would be bones and flesh then. I could hear its heartbeat. My illness holds me in night's teeth, so I'm closer to death than most are. Ghosts no longer frighten me. They're as humdrum as morning coffee. They happen, then they slide through the sane fissure of morning. No one finds me or my shadow in the night. I can stay there for days. Reading Clover. The sun stands up on the brown grass and the shadows lie down within their lines. I've been able to read only a little today of words, so I'll read the clover in the yard instead. Each bends with the burden of bees that feed there, sways on its stem under the weight, then rises again, wobbly for a moment, before the stillness in the air enters it. I let the lull in the air quiet me after days of a heaviness in my head, a foreign presence tilting me this way and that, doing what it will to my skull. I lie down, like the shadows lie down. I lie down in shadow. I am darkness and its complications. Some of the clover have given all they had, and now turned deep brown like the soil they'll soon return to. I feel an irrational urge to lay down on the subsuming, giving earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Great to hear these in, kind of a sequence and in more depth. And as you're listening, you could hear and see all those layers. And when you read the manuscript, obviously you catch a lot more of all of that as well. But great to hear them aloud. So thank you. We have been enjoying and celebrating Night is Another Realm Altogether by Marianne Honaker from West Virginia. So thank you, Marianne. And we will switch gears now to our invited mic reading. We have a collection of Sheila-Na-Gig Editions authors, and all of our folks have also been in Sheila-Na-Gig online. Some are still from our summer issue, and we've got a couple folks here giving us a sneak preview into our fall issue as well, which I have just started laying out, and Barbara Sable curated that one. So very excited. So we will be starting off with Simona going from West Virginia all the way to Northern California. So take it away, Simona.
Thank you. Thank you, Ailey. Congratulations again. Congratulations, Marianne, for the publication of your really strong and moving collection of poems. Shifting gears, I'm going to read the poem, which is in the current summer issue of Sheila-Na-Gig Online. Maritime morning commute, San Francisco Bay. Off the Larkspur terminal, the boat glides backward into the bay. The morning enters a gray-ceilinged, slate-paved atrium. Wavelets like whispers of water. Passengers' fingers fly on keyboards while the ferry hums. Clouds hover on the spring-greened hills. Light edges in through a slit at the horizon, illuminates the chill outside and harder to reach within. On port, St. Quentin's beige walls loom, whose pain no coat of bright paint can efface. What light filters through locked doors? Which side is death row? The ferry accelerates, follows briefly the San Rafael Bridge. Cold descends on the deck. Water sprinkles my face, a baptism. On starboard, villas glide past, gems set among shades of foliage, angled to escape the prison's view. Angel Island immigration station's cells, empty eye sockets. The park's serenity shadowed past tears, fears, longing for freedom. Lines carved into the barracks walls, poetry the only exit. Sorrow singing, a lifeline. Echoes of pained voices carried by seagulls' cries. Through a skylight in the cloud cover, the sun asserts its presence, the slice of brightness, a promise to the prow pointing towards the port of San Francisco, not yet in view for me, lured inside by coffee in the main cabin. The Golden Gate Bridge on starboard, awaiting sunlight to set its reddish-orange sheen on fire. Alcatraz, Pelican's Isle turned prison turned park, emerges ghastly from the fog and the water, now ruffled in waves, chasing each other like children. On starboard, skyscrapers rear up, while on port, the Bay Bridge leaps from Yerba Buena Island to the financial district. The ferry slows down, rumbles on approach, docks with a clanking, delivers us, steps unbound, lungs full of morning air, to our unwalled day. And then we go to all the way to Italy for a poem which was actually also on Sheila-Na-Gig some years ago, and one of my first poems that were published on Sheila-Na-Gig Online. Guzzle of the Soccer Bowl. Murano lies just across Venice, a short vaporetto ride. 7 tiny islands linked by bridges, cradled by lagoon tide. Waves of tourists wash ashore, surge, rattle glass, sparkling in shop windows, beckoning the buyer's tide. As the sun lingers on the western edge, poised to dive, from the vaporetto we alight, swim against the departing visitor's tide. Vaporous light glazes canal-side houses in wide brushstrokes. Silence seeps into Murano's Scully and Campi like a king tide. Footsteps, conversations, front doors closing, chimes of lives revolving around the rhythm of the lagoon's tides. A soccer ball rolls towards us, and he rescues it, tosses it back to the children playing at eventide. In the sunset's glow, lighting window panes, I catch a glimpse of a bobbing sphere, the soccer ball riding the tide. In Murano, where glass balls gyrate in windows, a plastic soccer ball is let go, like time and tide. Thank you so much.
I feel like my brain is so full of gods and goddesses and oceans right now. I have to try to shift gears into being able to read. Um, Marianne and Simona, those were wonderful poems. I loved everything I've heard so far tonight. I'm Jen Schomburg Kanke, and I'm going to be reading from Little Stone, Little Stone, which just came out at the end of July. The first poem, so the collection is about my experiences with ovarian cancer, and also has a number of poems about celebrities who have also had ovarian cancer. And I'm going to be reading some of the celebrity poems tonight. The first one is for Holly Dunn, who was an American country singer, and she's also an artist. And this is an ekphrastic poem about a painting that she has up on her she has up on her website. She lived from 1957 to 2016, and this poem appeared in Sheila-Na-Gig a few years ago. So this is Salsa. Ripened tomatoes still on the vine, crowding around bell peppers of yellow, orange, and deep red. They are only pieces, not yet together as a whole, not yet what they will someday be. Dream of what will come next, the garlic and the lime, a small earthenware bowl. Dream of that moment when the day has been long, and it's hard not to remember all you have left and all that's left you. How she will offer up the world on a spoon, just for a taste, just a small sample, just enough. And Holly Dunn's birthday is August 22nd, so her birthday is in a few days. And this next poet that I'm going to be reading, her birthday is also coming up on Tuesday, August 25th. And this one is for Shizuko Kasagi, who is a Japanese singer and an actress. She was born in 1914 and she passed away in 1985. This is called Queen of the Boogie Woogie. 1941. Your dancing was so dirty, they banned you during the war.
Those long false eyelashes tempt too many, and as we know, luxury is the enemy. Stay within 3 shaku of the mic, or the authorities will ban the film. You wild, wild boogie-woogie woman. 1952. After the war, you are a queen, dancing so fierce you break your shoes in two. So popular, even your imitators become famous. Replacement, the sincerest form of flattery. 1982. What a joke on all these men as you shill for kitchen cleanser, the giggling grandma, icon of domesticity, now so clean, clean, clean. Thank you.
I am Lynn, Gilbert. This is the poem that's to appear in Sheila-Na-Gig in September. It's called Focus. Sometimes I'd like my last days to be now, so I could find out what the now means looking back on it. I'd live backwards, changing the now so that my last days would emerge clearer, more composed, as if I'd printed out my shots before I've taken the scene in front of me, so as to catch it better while I'm still fiddling there, lining up the foreground fur to frame the distant ridge and contrast with the shine of river in the mid-foreground. Other times, I can foresee scanning the prints and wanting, too late, to hear the catbird's call that sat unseen in the tree, or the chat of those passers-by who took so long to get out of the way of my scene. I might want to feel the fingers of one who whined and pulled on my arm while I struggled to get things into focus. And for those of you who haven't had dessert yet, this is peach cobbler. Oops, I spilled the fat folder of dessert recipes all over the kitchen floor. Now they're not arranged in their original strata, the order in which they were laid down. I'm not brave enough to look yet, but I suppose my folded clutch of pecan pie recipes has been thrown to the winds. I know I'll have to sift these fallen leaves to collect them at the holidays. I'll need to combine several variants: molasses or cane syrup, 3 eggs or 4. Here's a very old brown Betty in the tiny elite font of my late mother's typewriter. Pears and red wine from a friend lost track of eons ago. Scotch shortbread from the mother of my advisor for the PhD I never finished. Peach cobbler was what I set out to find when I dropped the whole caboodle. A neighbor wrote out her grandmother's simple recipe for it on notebook paper in a loose, looping hand. Cranberry nut bread from my first stepmother, now dead, and tiramisu from the second, also gone. The easy key lime pie I love from the friend I met at our common insufferable job. The whole file is emblematic of a life. Yellowed newsprint, labels off boxes and bottles, ragged magazine pages, 3x5 cards, fading ink from hands mostly withered and gone. And right on top falls the half-day drill for candied orange peel. A frosted bale of hoarded peelings nags me each time I open the freezer. Still, today's challenge is cobbler. Ah, I spot the childlike hand. Here it is. 7 fresh peaches lie waiting. I put the kettle on for hot water to blanch them. I'll peel, pit, and slice them one by one into the measure. Then heat the oven, mix the batter. The shaggy pile of paper on the counter must wait while the cobbler bakes, crust browning, edges bubbling with butter and juice. I'll savor the sweet tartness of all those decades of good news shared. Thank you.
I'm Alison Hicks, and this is Buoyancy. 1. I was thrown in a foreign sea, bay of jellyfish. They bobbed and floated. I thrashed. When I brushed up against them, they stung. Swimming through the only way. They did not understand my protestations. Over time, I came to understand their underwater sounds. 2. My mother bought a geology book, said we might find an ammonite. I didn't dare think we would, but what if we did? Coiled shell a maze we could find our way through. When ready, the animal moves into a new apartment, seals the door of the previous residence, rides on its air. 3. Water moves through limestone, memory carrying pieces of the past, sculpting the present, carving valleys, trickling through cracks. Calanques were formed when sea levels rose, roofs of caves collapsed, steep cliffs, sea open to the sky. There are ammonites here, crinoids, brachiopods, bivalves. We didn't know how to find them, but they spoke to me in my distress of floating, a language I wouldn't decode until much later. Continuing with the underwater theme, this is Au Fond. Shadows ripple from the dock. Dolphin, barracuda, manatee, wetsuit, tank on back, lifeline of mixed gases, shark, whale, octopus. What kind of apparatus or submersible sunsetting through pelagic zones could deliver me to your midnight? Where the short end of the spectrum disappears, sound stretches out, traveling slow, predator and prey speak in flashes that may not be what they seem. Anglerfish, viperfish, sea devil. Better to lie low until eyes adjust. We once thought uninhabited territory we could not see. Dragonfish, lanternfish, bristlemouth. Much happens beneath our notice, where we feel our way, steer by gut, illuminations too short-lived to surface. Thank you.
I'm Jane Ann Fuller, and my first poem is called For My Brother, Gone Nearly a Year. William Shatner beams into the living room, and you are speaking through his clipped commands. To understand unlikely likenesses, I search the asymmetrical star on Kirk's gold tunic, the burl of his chest in the shimmery uniform. And here you are again, all bones, a final cigarette we shared. More than once, as kids, we caught the light of the security lamp that hovered like a mothership through rocks at an eclipse of moths turned luminous against the glass. We didn't empathize with insects, their navigation systems flawed, drawn by light that mimics the moon's distant body, paper cutouts dropping in the gravel. Couldn't know the future, your cheating wife, my husband's suicide. Brother, we built fires that charred the barrel we fed our family garbage. Well into the night, we worked the blaze as sparks swirled higher and higher. We caught them in our gloves and called them stars. And the second one is called Ghost Brother. You sit in the lift chair like a mannequin. I bring you orange sherbet, spoon its soup to your lips, lift Louie, the one-eyed dachshund, to your lap, follow you across the B&O trestle, kids who taunted death on the rail with chunks of creosote and hollow sticks. Have you ever been afraid? You nod your mouth stuck in an open pose like a fish. I guide your jaw shut to keep you from feeding at the surface of this day's dumb hour. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Marjorie Moorhead, and I'm very happy to be here joining you from New Hampshire, the border of Vermont. Congratulations, Marianne, on your book, and really lovely poetry I'm hearing here tonight. So let's see. The first one I'm going to read is called What's Inside. I think of it as sort of an ars poetica. What's inside? I've written a secret, a story of love, not for anyone's eyes, but a stranger, far away from here, from me, arriving anonymously. I'll fold it carefully in inch-long creases and fit the page through a bottle's neck. The glass, amber, translucent, buoyant, will travel through waves of a salty sea, alongside jellyfish, starfish, sunfish, seahorses, and anemone, through seaweed and kelp, past fishing boats and their nets. It will travel with dolphin, sharks, whales, turtles, crabs, and clams. And when it lands, washed onto a sandy shore, 2 hands will lift the bottle up and see. They'll see what's inside this bottle, written on folded paper, unfolding from inside of me. And the next one, it will be in Sheila-Na-Gig in the fall, which I'm very pleased about. This is called Touching Base. Once again, I saw Elle at the start of my walk. Once again, we compared notes on how life is going. She's got hip surgery scheduled 2 days from now. After that, her husband will have surgery on each eye about an hour's drive from here. I commiserated, told her about my sciatica legs and sleepless nights, and that I may have cataract surgery in my future too. We touched on the good stuff, a recent visit to Germany, writing poetry. Then I went on my way, happy to be out walking, happy for the spots of shade and the strong, clear song of cardinals high in the full-leafed trees. Thank you.
This is Patricia Clark. I'm going to read two poems. Yesterday I was very excited because I got an email from Michigan State University Press, and they're going to publish my most recent book, a new book. So I'm very happy. It's my 8th book, and it was great news. So let me find my 2 poems here. The first one, sometimes I get ideas just from the radio, and this was something I heard. This is called Michelangelo at 19. It was an anecdote they told about it snowing in Florence in a particular year. It was a weather surprise, not rain, snow, the children's dreams coming true, Christmas snow. Maybe a watchman guarding saw it first, sending word to underlings, shovel snow off the walkways, bring in more wood, and keep the rooms warm. When was the last time it snowed in Florence? Prince Medici wanted to wake up the palace historian. When had snow ever been a foot deep in this place? Time to rouse the children, let them play in snow for the first time. So the prince, prowling halls, said, "Send for Michelangelo, let snow be his fresh clay, show the children what man can do with nature's gift." He bent to shape snow into the figure of a man, using hands, no tools. Onlookers hope for packable snow, able to be rolled into a ball, like a mix of butter and sugar. Then snow began taking gradual shape, up and up, legs, torso, shoulders, arm and arm, then head, hands, all snow. Now Michelangelo made eyes, facial expression, hair wrought out of snow. Does it prefigure what's to come? A nude man 17 feet tall, not of fresh snow, but bronze. A man to be admired, tall, in a museum. The benediction of snow. And this is the poem that's going to appear in the fall issue of Sheila-Na-Gig, and it's after an Elgar piano quintet, and the title is Dendritic, which is a tree shape. The music often takes me to a haunted wood where soft snow drops from a branch with a sigh. Most trees hold something broken in their arms. By January's end, we gain a month of light. Soft snow drops from a branch with a sigh. Beyond that oak, the creek's a slash, water invisible. By January's end, we'll gain a month of light. I hear a plane rumble overhead. Lamberton Creek's a slash, water invisible. I don't think orioles will return to last year's nest. I hear a plane rumbling east overhead. A red-tailed hawk flies to the cottonwood. I doubt the orioles return to last year's nest. Most trees hold something broken in their arms. When the hawk, hunting, cruises to the cottonwood's top, the music takes me back to a haunted place. And I did want to say, too, congratulations to Marianne for her book. And I loved hearing all these poems. Lynn's poem about cobbler made me very hungry, and I think she should send everyone the recipe. But thank you very much. This was fun.
I'm Catherine Gonick, and I'm in Cold Spring, New York, where it's raining quite a bit. This is a poem that was in Blue Heron Review about the local lake that I swim in when I can, and which is closing 2 weeks early this year because Labor Day's late and school is starting early and all the lifeguards are disappearing. Everyone's quite upset. So, rituals at Canopus Lake. The beach grows larger as the sun evaporates more of the lake each day. Yet once in the water, up to my neck, the lake becomes infinite, its flat surface stretching toward forested shores, a universe through which I ply and splash, the full length of a soul I meet only here. As I wade through the shallows, children start conversations, offer to race. One boy claims he can catch fish with his bare hands. Their shouts as they play are part of nature, and otherwise the beach is quiet, except for a few adults who break the rule against playing music, la musica, although they keep it low. I put on my bathing cap and hear only silence, swim far out. At closing, the instant they see the beaches empty of humans, geese march onto the sand in search of food. The last swimmer in the lake, I watch them pass my towel and feel uneasy. They move with such determination on long, skinny legs and broad feet, seem almost unearthly, as if people caught in a sinister enchantment. I'm glad they don't stop to examine my bag, which holds what I need to go home, glasses and car keys. Rangers drive in from the trees, descend from their jeep, pick up trash. At the edge of the woods, hikers enter the trail that follows the Appalachians from Georgia to Maine. I leave the water and walk to the outdoor shower column. Rinse my feet. And the second one, I decided to read after hearing that Marianne's incredible first poem of loss, including friends. And Marianne, just congratulations. You're really captured blackness, darkness, and night. This is called In the Orchards of Eden, and it's in my book, Split Daughter of Eve, from Sheila-Na-Gig last year. In the Orchards of Eden. At an outdoor cafe, we sip margaritas, and my oldest friend says she's done with all that is dark. From now on, she wants only light. I know she's weary of my darkness and weird fear that too much radiance could pull me from earth before I'm ready. Licking lime and salt from her palm, she reassures me. It's spiritual, not personal. As girls, we ate too many dark fruits. I hear her abandon me along with the tree that fed us, and I'm scared to ask if we'll meet again for a long birthday lunch. Across the table, backlit by sun, she's a shadow with a glowing edge. I don't want to lose her. I want her with me in the spoiled garden, where light and dark are still a pair. Thank you.
And Dyer, Stuart, I have loved hearing. I'm going to snap up every book that was mentioned tonight as soon as this is over. That's great. I'm going to read a poem from the title poem from a forthcoming collection from April Blooming. It's called Inheritance. I came here muscled like a foil, rippled in winter sunlight, pale, eyes black holes into which everything fell. And here was a land of giants, footprints big as dinosaurs, some bland family resemblance, hunger in the stomach like a stone. I came here wanting to be seen and then, just as quick, invisible, tiny girls and their Delta mamas, cottage cheese lunches, starch napkins, inherited silver. I came here from a long line of women who danced with purses when the men pooped out. I came here, daughter to Miss Hospitality 1968, daughter to worry, daughter to breast implants and Revlon's fire and ice, pantyhose and Easter egg containers, and oriental rugs made new with magic marker. I came here wanting to be wanted, to disappear, to blaze up like a prom dress thrown on a campfire. I came here, no debutante, no dream imagined, no daughter with a daughter to try again, to find herself on new soil with the same destination. A terrible beauty, this earth, sandy loam, cotton fields, like parts in a girl's head. Death, unexpected in all things. Death here, too. And my second one is coming out in the fall issue from Sheila-Na-Gig. I'm thrilled about that. The Scales. I am my mother's daughter, locked in a box of my own making. I will not be let out until I finish what I can't begin. The surface is beautiful. It can't stop smiling. Everything's so thoughtfully arranged. On the surface, frozen mystic ocean, two fish trapped in ice, still swimming. On the surface, two scales balanced with silver. I am a daughter. My weight broke open the box. Thank you.
Well, I guess I'm next, and this first poem I'm going to read was inspired by two things. One, a movie with Sally Field called Remarkably Bright Creatures. I don't know if any of you've seen that. And also a musician who has a lot of stuff on YouTube. He calls himself Plumes. He plays music to all sorts of different animals with remarkable effect. It'd be interesting. If you haven't seen it, you should look at it. It's inspiring. This poem is called Remarkably Blind Creatures. You see your octopus move to the edge of its tank when you walk into your room. Happy to see you, she tries to embrace you, tentacles caressing glass. You reach into the tank and let her. Her color blooms into the pink of your skin. You drop a chest of food in her tank. It has a clever lock. You watch her feel her way to an answer. She feeds. With a multi-arm wave, she thanks you. You sit on a stump in your pig enclosure. They go about their business eating corn and fussing. You are invisible. You massage your violin until it sings your version of bittersweet symphony. It takes a moment until they notice you. They raise their heads, wrestle close to you. They slow waltz in the mosh pit of your concert. Curious, they nuzzle your hands and the part of you that is instrument. They settle down, rest in their mud. They listen. In their way, they thank you. Your wife slaved in her kitchen for hours today. She gives you a hug. She smells Italian. She wants to feed you. You sit at her table, famished from feeding joy to your creatures, from waking something. She puts smooth jazz on the radio and calamari on your plate, with porchetta and pasta. You thank her. Her color blooms. Your color leaves. Tears give season to blood-red marinara. You pray. Forgive. 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 Thank you. This next poem is called Fresh Apples. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about wizards. No, not the gray nostril flaring, lightning eye glaring, bony staff twirling, wicked spell whirling wizards. No. I have seen miracles in her mashed potatoes and Cajun fried chicken. Seen abracadabra and made beds and lemon pancakes. Watched as her crystal ball vision found our hidden tears, our creeping sorrows. These are wizards that birth other wizards and teach us charms beyond imagination. Never forgetting the simple magics, like secret rituals to make an omelet and buttered toast, like the magical sight to walk into a market and pick out the freshest apples, like how to hold someone just right, just so, just long enough that it makes you both disappear. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michael, for wrapping us up for our invited mic readers. Great to have you here as a first-time reader with us. So now we're all hungry and want to go eat. All right, thanks a lot. We've been listening to contributors and authors from Sheila-Na-Gig Online and Sheila-Na-Gig Editions, and celebrating our feature reader tonight, Marianne Honaker, with Night is Another Realm Altogether. Next week, we have Jimmy Shields up with his little chapbook, Time Under Tension. And Jimmy won our first chapbook competition this year. A young man from Queens, New York, who has not only not published a book, but this was his first publication ever. So I'm just really excited about him and this find. And I just love how our Sheila-Na-Gig family has, you know, young folks and older folks, you know, the whole life spectrum. So hope you'll come and support Jimmy next week and give him a nice coming out into the poetry world. So you can find our books in our online journal at Sheila-Na-Gig blog.com. Thank you, everybody, for coming.